Alright you guys, so Roads and Travel has been going on for quite a while now. And you know what? We've never filmed a Chevy Corvette. They're really great bang for the buck. Big V8 up front, rear wheel drive, two-seater, the ultimate classic American sports car. Someone call it a muscle car. I would beg to differ. Anything up to this point that I've driven has always been, big turbo. If it's making 700 or 800 horsepower, everything I've driven has had massive amounts of lag. Not massive, but it's had that turbo lag, right? 3,500 RPM, and you put your foot down. And it's funny because Dave will tell you that, oh, Marcus, there's not real any power until you're above 5,000 RPM. Well, here at 4,000 RPM, I would beg to differ, but Dave's used to the car, so.
Ooh. Damn, you did it again, man. That sounds good, again, bro. I've been waiting for a long time for some shit like this, you know what I mean? You got me going out like.
Hi, my name's Dave. This is our 2006 Corvette Z06. Got the car in March of this year and took it down to the ridge. Figured out there was a weakness with the engine and started from there. So now it's a LS7 7.3 liter 448 stroker. Fully built bottom end, Texas speed heads, custom cam, full exhaust, along with an RPM stage 7 trans and stage 4 rear diff. The car makes a little over 600 wheel, approximately 720 at the flywheel. And it's built for autocross, road racing, and standing half-mile events. Taking the car down to the ridge, runs in the low 150s a lap.
This car is nuts. Very big, it's very wide, but you know what? It's manageable. This car feels smaller than the 5th gen Camaro ZL1 I drove, that's for sure. It's a heck of a lot faster. I mean, this is in a different league of speed compared to that car. It's lighter, it's more nimble. You can actually see out of it, which is a very good thing, right? And it's yellow. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had rants on the podcast. If you listen to our podcast on iTunes every Wednesday, I've ranted about how I'm not a big fan of yellow cars, and you know what, my opinion hasn't really changed. But this car is striking nonetheless, and I think Dave's done an awesome job with the vinyl wrap, and everything on the exterior really comes together. It's a cop magnet, essentially. All right. NA power is so much fun. It's like, it's right there anytime you want it, and it does not stop pulling. The way Dave has built this car is really something for other Corvette owners out there to kind of look up to, in my opinion. Or at least if I owned a Corvette, I would, because it's like his goal is not to have the craziest top-end power. He loves NA motors, and now, you know what, driving this thing, I can see where he's coming from, for sure. It's a really great sensation.
Ideally, I do enjoy NA, the reliability of it, the fact that it doesn't heat soak on the track for days down at the ridge. I can run a full 10 to 15 lap session and I have no issues with heat soak. I did build the motor that I could go up to 10 pounds of boost on it, whether it be side mount or top mount supercharger. Might leave it the way it is. We'll just have to get a better idea next year when we have a full season of racing. Took it down to Oregon the end of August for shift sector event. Car took first place in the NA class. Did 159.82 mile an hour in the standing half. Some will feel it's a sensory overload. I mean, you're fairly well pinned into the seat. You've got all the air movement, you've got the engine noise, you've got a little bit of everything. The car kind of dances and floats a little bit. You get used to it. I mean, similar speeds to what we'll do at the ridge, so nothing to catch myself off guard. But for those that are new to the sport or haven't been those speeds, it definitely takes some getting used to. But once you're comfortable with it, you know your vehicle, you know the characteristics of the road, the car is very well balanced. Braking's not an issue. Stability's not an issue. It's a great all-around platform to have to do events like that. Yeah, all around it's built to drive every day, and at the same time scare the hell out of you.
So I did mention the C6 being definitely a bigger car. In fact, it's very wide. It's slightly wider than the C5, and the C6 Z06 is even wider than the base C6, right? It's got a hard top, means it's the lightest of the C6 variants. Sorry, I gotta concentrate when I'm accelerating. It's actually pretty easy to heel toe. You know, it took me a while to get used to the pedal placement and everything, but after you do, it is awesome to drive. I'm a short guy, yet I can see perfectly over the hood right now. Great visibility. I absolutely hate cars that I can't see very well out of, but the C6 is not like that. Literally watching the gas gauge just fall off a cliff as I'm doing pulls like that. Oh, that's fun. Honestly, I can't imagine this car on a runway. This must be a riot. You guys might think, okay, Marcus, I mean, you're a big fan of Japanese cars, big turbo cars, which I am. But the car that got me into cars originally, without a doubt, is the Chevrolet Corvette. It was brand new. The C5 Corvette had just come out when I was in elementary school, and my brother gave me his old Motor Trend magazines, and I would see pictures of this new Corvette that was coming out, and I just fell in love with the car. I read on from like the 53, the C1, C2, C3. Everyone told me the C4 was a complete shitbox. And now here we are, finally, I'm driving a C6 Z06. Barely getting traction. It's an angry car, very angry. You know what, the car is comfortable. I'm not getting any back pain or anything, although I haven't been driving it for very long. Seats are nice. They could definitely use some more thigh bolstering. For a car with this amount of power, even the 500 horsepower it came with stock, the seats are a little bit, I'd definitely change the seats. If you got a C6, you've probably already done that, but maybe that's just me.
So the wrap that we did on the vehicle is kind of a montage of the factory Corvette race team. So that skull logo on the side of the car is known as Jake, and that's kind of the factory racing mascot. And then we kind of did our own little takeoff of it, kind of a little tribal, little classic wrap. Great platform to start with, the balance, the characteristics of the car, the fact of what size tires you can run. So to build on that, you've already got a great platform. You don't have to spend a ton of cash to be able to compete with just about anything on the road or on the track. And there's just something about, you know, the classic American muscle car. I mean, Corvette started in '53 and it's always been at the forefront for North American vehicles.
Oh, that's an angry motor. You know how, oh my God, you have a little bit of time to think in between shifts to kind of give yourself a little bit of prep for that adrenaline rush that's about to come when you floor this thing. But man, that's crazy. When you get into a corner, the tire setup, the wheel setup, and the suspension all kind of work together. Dave's got a little bit camber in the back and front, really specifically set up for the road course. So when you dive into a corner, it really sets your confidence in motion. You can really dive it in, you know, set the corner, ride it out, power out, and the tail might get a little bit sideways on the way out, but it's definitely controllable. It's a lot of fun to drive. Oh, first off, this is definitely one of the scariest cars I've driven. It's, you know what, it's just a lot of fun. It's pretty easy to drive. The inputs are all very heavy. If you don't like heavy inputs, you're not gonna like this car. I mean, these are stock brakes. So these are stock brakes. Chevy's not stupid. You've got 6 piston calipers up front. Very awesome stopping power. great brake feel. Some of the best brake feel I think I've ever felt in a car. Thank you so much, Dave, for letting me drive your car. I seriously appreciate it. This thing is a monster. Just listen to that. Awesome, so awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go subscribe, like us on Facebook, Instagram. Go tell your friends. Listen to the Roads and Travel podcast every week on iTunes. Head on over to roadsandtravel.com. Check out all the stuff we've got there, bonus content, whatever you find. You can contact us there as well. See you guys next time. All right, so the R33 GTR has been legal in Canada now for a few years because it's over 15 years old, right? So this is not the original paint job, but it is midnight purple. So as a whole, this is kind of like the most sought after R33 GTR you can get, right? V-spec.